Chevrolet might be the strangest car company in the world. Think about it. The same brand that will happily sell you a $21,000 Trax with a tiny 3-cylinder engine will also sell you a Corvette with over 1,000 horsepower that will crack 230 miles an hour. Same gold bow tie badge, same dealer, same brochure. That is a spread almost no other manufacturer alive can match. Ferrari doesn't sell you a sensible commuter crossover. Toyota doesn't build a proper hypercar you can order off the forecourt. Chevy does both, and absolutely everything in between. So, today I'm walking you through the whole thing, from the cheapest bow tie you can drive off the lot all the way up to the Corvette ZR1, the most powerful production V8 America has ever built. 7 levels. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which level actually deserves your money and which one is just charging you for a badge and a bigger number on the boot. Stick with me, because level 5 is where most people completely misjudge what they're buying. Level 1, the entry. This is Chevrolet holding the door open and letting normal people walk in, and there are really 2 cars that live here, the Trax and the Trailblazer. Now, the Trax is the important one because in 2024, Chevy completely redesigned it, and honestly, they pulled off something a bit miraculous. It starts at around $21,500. That's it. In a market where the average new car now costs close to 50 grand, the Trax undercuts almost everything with 4 doors and a warranty. Under the bonnet is a 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder making 137 horsepower. Read that back. 3 cylinders, 137 horsepower. On paper, that sounds miserable, like something that would struggle to merge onto a motorway. And here's the twist. It doesn't. Because Chevy stretched the new Trax out longer and wider than the old one, it drives like a much bigger car. The cabin looks like it belongs in something 10 grand more expensive, with a proper 11-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, and materials that genuinely embarrass some rivals. Is it fast? No. 0 to 60 takes a leisurely 8.5 seconds or so, and if you floor it up a hill, the little 3-pot will let you know it's working hard. But that was never the point. The Trax exists to get someone out of a clapped-out used car and into a brand-new Chevrolet without a terrifying monthly payment. The Trailblazer is its slightly posher sibling. Bit more money, low to mid-20s, but it adds the option of all-wheel drive and a sportier RS look, plus a 1.3-liter turbo triple in the higher trims. If you live somewhere with real winters, that all-wheel drive option is the reason to step up. My honest take on level 1, buy the Trax new without a second thought. This is one of the very few new cars where buying brand new actually makes sense because it's so cheap to begin with that the depreciation hit is tiny in real money, and you get the full warranty. Just go in knowing what it is. You're buying dependable, efficient, no-drama transport wrapped in a nicer interior than the price suggests. Nothing more, nothing less. Level 2, core crossovers. This is where Chevrolet makes the bulk of its money and where most families actually shop. 3 names matter here: the Equinox, the Blazer, and what's left of the Malibu. The Equinox is the big one, starts around $29,000, runs a 1.5-liter Turbo 4, making about 175 horsepower, and it is one of the best-selling vehicles Chevy makes, for one simple reason. It's the sensible choice. Roomy back seat, easy to park, comfortable on a long trip, cheap to run, and reliable enough that you stop thinking about it. There's also the Equinox EV now, which is genuinely one of the most interesting cars in this whole lineup, because Chevy will sell you an electric crossover with over 300 miles of range starting in the mid-30s. That's a proper family EV for the price a lot of brands charge for a base petrol model. Then there's the Blazer, the gas one, not the electric one, which sits a rung above at around $36,000. It's the style pick. Sharper looks, a bit more attitude, available V6 aimed straight at people who want their family crossover to look like it works out. And then quietly, in the corner, the Malibu. For decades, this was Chevy's bread-and-butter saloon, the default rental car of America. Chevrolet has now ended production of the Malibu, drawing the curtain on the brand's last traditional 4-door sedan. If you want a comfy, cheap, front-wheel drive Chevy saloon, that window has basically shut. My pick at this level is the Equinox, and specifically I'd have a long, hard look at the EV version if your driving fits it, because the value there is genuinely hard to argue with. This is the level where Chevrolet ownership makes the most straightforward financial sense for a normal family. Level 3. the midsize truck, and the entry pickup. Now we get to the part of Chevrolet that built the company, trucks. And it starts with two, the Colorado and the Silverado 1500. The Colorado is the midsize, and the current one is a serious piece of kit. Every single one now runs a 2.7-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, and in the top tune it makes 310 horsepower and a thumping 430 pound-feet of torque. That's more twist than some V8s from a decade ago. Prices start around $31,000, but the one everyone actually wants is the Colorado ZR2, the off-road monster with proper long-travel suspension, locking differentials front and rear, and enough ground clearance to embarrass trucks costing far more. Then there's the Silverado 1500, the full-size, the backbone of the whole brand. Starts in the high 30s for a basic work truck but climbs fast. The engine choice is huge, a turbo 4, a couple of V6 options, a brilliant 3.0-liter Duramax straight-six diesel that returns proper economy while towing like a champ, and of course the classic 5.3 and 6.2-liter V8s. A loaded Silverado High Country with the 6.2 V8 will sail comfortably past 60 grand. This is the level where you have to be really honest with yourself about what you actually need, because the temptation to option a truck into the stratosphere is very, very real. Level 4, full-size SUVs and heavy-duty. This is where the vehicles and the prices get genuinely big. On the SUV side, you've got the Tahoe and the Suburban, and on the truck side, the Silverado Heavy Duty. The Tahoe starts around $58,000 and the Suburban a touch more, and the difference between them is basically a foot of length and a much bigger boot. Both ride on the same body-on-frame bones as the Silverado. Both offer that lovely 6.2-liter V8 or the smooth 3.0 Duramax diesel, and both can swallow a family of 7 or 8, plus their luggage and still tow a boat to the lake. These are the default choice for big American families and anyone who genuinely needs 3 rows of seats that adults can actually sit in. Then there's the heavy-duty stuff, the Silverado, 2,500 and 3,500. This is where Chevy stops messing about. The big Duramax 6.6-liter turbo diesel V8 makes 470 horsepower and an absolutely ludicrous 975 pound-feet of torque, and a properly spec'd 3,500 dually can tow well over 35,000 pounds. That's a small building on wheels. Nobody buys one of these for fun. You buy it because you tow horses or boats or a fifth-wheel caravan the size of a small flat, and nothing smaller will do the job. The value here is entirely about capability. If you need it, it's worth every penny. If you don't, you're buying an enormous amount of truck to carry a bag of shopping. Level 5. This is the one everybody gets wrong. Performance, electric muscle, and the gateway to the Corvette. First, the Blazer EV-SS. Forget the sensible Blazer from Level 2. This is a completely different animal. The SS version makes around 615 horsepower and will hit 60 in roughly 3.5 seconds. That is genuine supercar acceleration in a family-shaped electric crossover for comfortably under 70 grand. Then we have to pour one out for the Camaro. Chevrolet ended production of the 6th-generation Camaro, and with it, for now, the classic muscle car war with the Mustang went quiet. The last ZL ones, with their supercharged 6.2-liter V8 making 650 horsepower, are already turning into collector cars. But the real headline at Level 5, the car that redraws the entire map, is the Corvette Stingray, the C8, and here's where people misjudge Chevrolet completely. This is a mid-engine sports car with a 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 sitting right behind your head making 495 horsepower. That will do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, and it starts at around $68,000. Let that sink in. For the price of a loaded Silverado or a mid-spec German saloon, you can buy a mid-engine supercar that will out-accelerate cars costing 3 and 4 times as much. When the C8 launched, it genuinely rewrote the rulebook. Ferrari and McLaren built cars with this exact layout and charge a fortune for the privilege. Chevrolet built one and charged Camry plus money. That is the single most underrated car in America, and it's the reason Level 5 is where the whole Chevrolet story suddenly gets fascinating. Level 6. Serious Corvette, because the Stingray was just the beginning. Two cars live here, and both are extraordinary. First, the E-Ray. This is the first electrified all-wheel drive Corvette ever made. It takes the 6.2 V8 driving the rear wheels and adds an electric motor on the front axle for a combined 655 horsepower and a 0 to 60 of around 2.5 seconds, making it the quickest accelerating Corvette in history at the time it launched. It'll even creep through your neighborhood in near silence on electric power alone before the V8 wakes up. Around $104,000 gets you in. Then there's the Z06, and this one is special in a way the spec sheet barely captures. Chevrolet gave it a brand new 5.5-liter flat plane crank V8 called the LT6, and it is the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 ever fitted to a production car. 670 horsepower, screaming all the way to 8,600 revolutions per minute. Read that again, 8,600 revolutions per minute from a Chevrolet. It sounds like a Ferrari, it revs like a Ferrari, and it costs about $112,000, which is less than half what an equivalent Italian would ask. The Z06 is the car that proves Chevrolet can build not just fast, but soulful. This is where the badge stops being about value and starts being about pure craft. Level 7, the absolute insanity, the Corvette ZR1. Everything up to now has had some limit, some sensible engineer somewhere saying, that's enough. The ZR1 is what happens when they take that engineer out of the room and lock the door. Chevrolet took the Z06's brilliant 5.5-liter flat plane V8 and bolted on 2 turbochargers, creating an engine called the LT7. The result is 1,064 horsepower, 1,064. From a Chevrolet you can, in theory, order at a dealership. It is the most powerful production V8 ever made by any manufacturer, anywhere on Earth, full stop. Top speed is north of 230 miles an hour, making it the fastest car General Motors has ever built and one of the fastest production cars on the planet regardless of price or badge. And that price? Around $174,000 to start. Now, that is a colossal amount of money for a Chevrolet. But here is the number that will genuinely break your brain. Cars from Europe with this kind of performance, this kind of top speed, this kind of power routinely cost $700,000, $1 million, sometimes several $1 million. The ZR1 delivers hypercar numbers for luxury sedan money. And if even that isn't enough, Chevrolet has confirmed the ZR1X, which takes the twin-turbo LT7 and adds the E-Ray's electric front axle for a combined output well beyond 1,200 horsepower. At that point, we've left the realm of cars altogether and entered the realm of physics experiments with number plates. So let's bring it all home. Where's the sweet spot? Because this is the part that actually matters for your wallet. For most normal people, the smartest money in the whole Chevrolet range sits at levels 2 and 3. The Equinox at level 2 is the safe, sensible, do-everything family choice, and the EV version might just be the best value in the entire lineup. If you need to tow or haul, the Colorado and Silverado at level 3 are as good as trucks get for the money. Level 4, the big SUVs and heavy-duty trucks, only make sense if you genuinely use the capability, if you actually tow, actually carry 8 people, actually need it. If you don't, you're paying a small fortune to move air around, and levels 5, 6, and 7, that's not really a value conversation anymore, that's passion. But here's the beautiful thing about Chevrolet, and the reason this brand is so strange and so brilliant. The Corvette at level 5, the humble Stingray, is arguably the single best performance per dollar car sold anywhere on Earth. It is genuinely the value play of the entire supercar world. So the two opposite ends of the Chevrolet range, the tiny Trax and the wild Corvette, are both, in their own completely different ways, brilliant value. That's a very unusual thing for one company to pull off. The thing to really understand about Chevrolet is that the badge doesn't tell you what you're getting, the way a Ferrari or a Mercedes badge does. That same gold bow tie sits on a $21,000 commuter and a 1,000 horsepower hypercar. What you're actually paying for changes completely as you climb, from pure sensible value at the bottom through hard capability in the middle to genuine world-beating engineering at the top. Know which of those three things you're buying, and you'll never overpay for a Chevrolet again. If this helped you make sense of the whole lineup, do me a favor and hit subscribe, because the data says most of you watching right now aren't. And I break down car ranges and what your money actually buys every single week, with no brochure fluff and no cap. And I'm genuinely curious, so drop me a comment. Number 1, which level is your real sweet spot, and be honest? Number 2, is the C8 Corvette really the best value performance car in the world, or am I overselling it? And number 3, which brand should I break into 7 levels next? Tell me down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.